Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist congregation of Terre, Haute. This congregation welcomes all people, regardless of their age, religion, race, nationality, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or anything else that has been used to divide people. We are a group of people with our own opinions, our own ideas, our own dreams. But we share ideals. We share a common belief in a liberal religion. In our discussions, we may disagree with each other, but we must always remember that what unites us is stronger than what separates us. We must always end the service aware of the love that we have for each other.
About being you, today is the third principle, and it goes acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregation. So there are two parts to it. Acceptance of one another sort of reflects the first principle, where we acknowledge the inherent worth and dignity of every person. But the second part, encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregation, is a little bit more difficult. It's difficult to explain. Some people think it means you can believe anything you want, but that's not really true. Our spiritual growth is certainly a personal thing, but the thing about a congregation such as ours is you can discuss it with other people, and not that you're going to convince them of your point of view, but listen to them, and they'll listen to you, and through exchange, you may indeed encounter spiritual growth. Opening words are in your order of service. We whose journeys are always beginning, we whose mission always awaits us, we whose visions are bent on loving, we gather together this morning. We gather as a community drawn together out of a common need, each toting our own carpet bag of treasures and dreams. We gather together seeking our own meanings, yearning for life in all of its dimensions, its challenges, and as it challenges and expands, as it burdens, as it consoles and heals. We gather in these moments to share from a common cup. We gather thirsting, we gather drawn to our source. Come, let us gather together.
Free from the
Transitional Words will be presented by Tom and Lisa Bear.
This offering for the water ceremony of August 29, 2021 was inspired by a summer project of exploring the geologic history of ancient Atherton Island in Park and Vigo counties. Why is it called an island when it is not surrounded by water? More than 10,000 years ago, the glaciers were melting to the north, forming a much larger Wabash River than the river that we see now. The Atherton Island Natural Area is a 188-acre woodland on the west central part of Atherton Island. Atherton Island is an area of land that was once an island in the prehistoric time of the Wisconsin Glacier. For our offering to the water ceremony this year, Tom and I spent a day collecting samples of water that, when presented together, represent the modern geologic legacy of this ancient island. According to scholars, the glacial Wabash flowed south on both sides of Atherton Island, but eventually, due to geologic processes that are still under debate, the southern flow of the water on the east side of the island was reversed, creating the confluence of Big Raccoon Creek and the Wabash River as we know it today. Therefore, we began our tour as close as we could get by car to the confluence of Big Raccoon Creek and the Wabash River. We soon discovered that we were insufficiently equipped to reach the low water, and so we made a side trip to Montezuma, a town located further north on the Wabash River. Our second attempt to collect water at the bridge on 600 West was successful. Our next stop was Waveland Lake, a man-made lake located on Little Raccoon Creek. Next, we went to Cecil M. Hardin Lake, a larger man-made lake located on Big Raccoon Creek. The Mansfield Dam is located on Big Raccoon Creek as it exits the lake. Finally, we stopped along Big Raccoon Creek at Thorpe Ford Covered Bridge, the location that was as close as we could get to the confluence of Big and Little Raccoon Creeks.
Anyway, so the video shows you the way Tom and I collected the water in the order that we drove the route. But we're going to show you the order that the water actually comes to us. And I have my helpers, could get in position now. We're going to start with the two big lakes that I showed on the maps, Waveland Lake and it used to be called the Mansfield Reservoir, but back in 1974 they changed the name to Cecil M. Hardin. So Big Raccoon comes through the Cecil M. Hardin Lake, Little Raccoon comes through the Waveland Lake, and then they come to a confluence at a covered bridge. And then that's when this northward swing happens, that the blockage and all that, the geological thing happens. So it goes up north of the island, almost to Montezuma, and comes out on the Wabash River. And all of that water then comes down to us in Terre Haute via the Wabash. So we're going to reenact that.
I'm Sylvia Oster, this morning's service associate. I'm here with the Reverend Doddie Stone, our speaker today for the water ceremony.
This has been a strange year for most of us. We have not ventured far from home, and we have experienced loss of friends from our lives. We've seen a world filled with fire and flood, war and climate change beyond our imagination. Most of us have been vaccinated against a pandemic that still keeps going, and we've learned to Zoom and YouTube to keep in touch with the world around us that we were unable to visit. We keep sanitizing and wearing masks, and we've been among the few congregations that have continued to meet in real time. But here we are with hopes of a brighter year ahead. So we gather in community with stories of survival and thoughts of places we sometimes could only visit in our imagination. Many of you have come to Unitarian Universalism from other traditions, and sometimes you've come because you did not find meaning in your former rituals. And some of you have come to a Unitarian Universalist congregation because you hope to find new ways of experiencing old traditions and rituals. For those of you who are uncomfortable with the word ritual, I invite you to consider the words of the Reverend Robert Fulgham in his introduction to the book, From Beginning to End, The Rituals of Our Lives. From beginning to end, the rituals of our lives shape each hour, day, and year. Everyone leads a ritualized life. Rituals are patterns of meaningful acts. If you are mindful of your actions, you'll see the ritual patterns. And if you see the patterns, you may understand them. And if you understand them, you may enrich them. It is from this place of enrichment that a new ritual has emerged within many Unitarian Universalist congregations. The ritual, known as the Gathering of the Waters, began in 1980 at a gathering in Michigan in a continental convocation of Unitarian Universalist women. Carolyn McDade, better known for Spirit of Life, was one of the co-creators of the ceremony, which has since become an annual celebration in most UU congregations, and usually it marks the end of summer and the return of autumn. So let us celebrate our time of return, of coming together as a growing community, ready to continue another year of existence in our beautiful building. Let us come with awareness of our own humanness and our interdependence with one another. Let us be aware of our spirit that needs to be nourished with thirst-quenching waters of life to thrive and grow. Listen, let go, remember. Our story begins with the water saved from our service 1 year ago. Each year, we save a small amount to remind us of our continuing journey in our little corners of the earth. Together, we add to our shared history. What water beckoned to you this summer that you bring to our community? Please come forward and in a brief, simple phrase, using the microphone, name the source of the water you met along your journey. If you forgot to bring some actual water, please pour from our communal pitcher to name the source of your memories.
I spent a lot of my time on the house, the watering of the flowers and vegetables, and it's coming along. It's not done yet, but I really like my yard. The water came from the hose.
I enjoyed some time up at Lake Michigan this summer.
The floodwaters in New Orleans right now. Our granddaughter, who lives down there, has come home to be safe.
I have some delightful friends at Paint Mill Lake, so this is in their honor as well.
Brought water from Deming Park right up the road.
Jim and I went to Nashville, Tennessee for a couple days last week. This is not from the Cumberland River. I saw it. This is ice melted out of my drink at a bar. And we went there to listen to his boyhood friend's son, who plays at Margaritaville Cafe, and to dance and drink and have a hell of a good time. It worked.
I spend a lot of time boxing and training at Sweatbox Gym.
This will be water symbolically from Charleston, South Carolina, where my brother is a snowbird. I'd been there before, but I just got a much better appreciation for the amazing water, how much a water city it is. 3 rivers converging and the ocean, where I actually did have a chance to swim. And then even more symbolically, a trip I'm making, my second trip to see family in 3 weeks, right by the Delaware River, in north of, about an hour north of Philadelphia, which is actually a river that has been important to me also in my life. So I'm...
A couple years back, I was doing some work for Doddie and Sylvia, and their basement had flooded a little bit. And I went to use the restroom, and there on the floor was an absolutely enormous salamander. At first, I thought it was a toy that someone had bought at the Dollar Tree. But it was real, and it was about 7 inches long. And it was shiny and black and had beautiful red spots. And I carefully picked it up and took it outside and found a wet place for it to rest. It certainly didn't belong in the bathroom, and how it got there, none of us know. But I'll never forget it. It was absolutely a beautiful little creature, and I was so happy to be able to return it to a place where it could thrive and live its life.
For Unitarian Universalists, life is made of moments. Moments of insight, moments of transforming emotion, moments of hilarity, moments of tenderness, of longing, of satisfaction, of love, moments of awakening, moments of memory, moments of clarity, moments of peace. Most of us are not aiming in any intentional way for the traditional afterlife of Western culture. Most of us do not believe that the meaning of our lives will be handed to us on a silver platter. Most of us do not count on eternal reward. For us, the time is now. I'm still pondering what I have learned from my experiences. I'm trying to accept my own aging process and the awareness that another birthday is fast approaching for me. I definitely move through life slower as each year passes, and I'm trying to sort out what's valuable to me and what to let go of because it's past. I'm so aware that I am the surviving member of my family, and if I do not collect and pass along the family history to the next generations, many stories will be lost forever. There's still much I can do, and I'm trying to take care of myself so the stories can be told. I know I need all of you to encourage me along the way. This is a glimpse into what I have learned and what I continue to learn. Each of you has also experienced a journey through life in the past 3 months. What have you learned from your pilgrimage that has changed your life? What story can you tell of your progress along the spiritual journey? Now is the time to share of wisdom gained because you journey.
I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain, I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow, I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops, I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain, I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
Words. I say that it touches us that our blood is seawater and our tears are salt, that the seed of our bodies is scarcely different from the same cells in a seaweed, and that the stuff in our bones is like coral. I say that the tide rolls in on us, whether like it or no, and the sands of time keep running their intended course. I say that we have to go down to the wave's trough to find ourselves, and then ride her swell until we can see beyond ourselves into our neighbor's eyes. I say that we shall never leave the harbor if we do not hoist the sail. I say that we have got to walk the waves as well as the solid ground. I say that anyone who goes without consciousness of this will remain chained to a rusty anchor. May the journey find us worthy. Amen.
May the blessings of love rest upon you. May peace abide with you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore.
Go in peace. Know that you are loved and that your life is sacred.